we're extremely excited to get started with this.
We're thankful to have you guys, and I know I was getting stuff like that, so we'll definitely work on that. After we get through the AMA here. So let's just get started. It is Saturday, and I'm wanting to do other things today besides listening to all kinds of good crypto. So I want to welcome everybody to another Cryptonaires AMA. We're here with Comb Financial today. I'm very excited to speak with Comb. Been a big supporter and fan of Comb here at Cryptonaires since they launched, and it's just really nice to sit down and talk with the team and really get to know the project better on a more intimate level. So I wanted to welcome Moon and Bush and give you guys a second to introduce yourselves and what you do for the project, and maybe a little bit of background on either one of you. Amazing. Moon, you want to go ahead and start?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Moon. I'm the lead developer and I do a lot of the project management side. I am the founder and my background stems in front end and mobile development and web development. So like more applications that you use on a day-to-day basis. And I started Comb as a way to kind of enter the blockchain space and really enter this technology because I've done a bunch of other projects. Let those be DAOs, like a true DAO, not like a financial one. So like just on a technological basis. And I've done subscription softwares for utilizing blockchain services. And so I'm kind of here to kind of innovate on the space and kind of create the future of what the blockchain can be.
Great. Dabush, you wanna give us a little bit of background and what do you project?
Yeah, exactly. So I handle marketing and a little bit of the product for Comb. And essentially, I also go by Sam, by the way, for you guys. So a little background on myself is I would say just more so of like my personal self is I started my first business a few years back, and I grew that to over 10 assets in Southern California. And I handled basically growth and product for that as well. And essentially, I see a lot of overlying similarities within there and blockchain. So I was super excited to be able to join Comb. I joined about a week after it launched, and we've been hammering away ever since then. And we're extremely excited with what we're releasing in the future, and just future kind of like partnerships with just everybody in the space, and try to educate you guys as much as possible about what we provide and what we will provide. And yeah, like I would say my background in crypto is I've been in crypto for the past few years. I got really deep into DeFi this past year and just kind of fell into the rabbit hole like everybody else in this chat, and just never looked up.
Yeah, man, I hear you on that rabbit hole. I'm different rabbit hole, and it's a lot of fun kind of see where the space is going, the different changes, the different things that are happening. And I know you guys have really done a lot of innovating since you guys have launched, and a lot of changes have been made, and you guys are making the project better every day. And I'm very excited to kind of get into that, the NFT and gaming stuff that you guys are trying to get into as well. So we'll get into that a little bit later here. For the people who don't know what Comb Financial is, why don't you guys explain to a person that's watching this, that has really no understanding of Comb, what are you guys, what is your project about, and what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so what we do is we provide nodes as a service. So as you all may know, it's kind of to provide the service of creating read-only nodes as well as sustaining the network using a validator. And in addition, it's to also fund the company in itself, where we create a bunch of financial services and we all share the revenue within the entire ecosystem. So our project is basically built on a foundation of finance, and our plan is to kind of create 4 different pillars. So that's the metaverse, sustaining the network, onboarding investors, and a social impact. So in the end, that's what our project is going to do. And we've already hit like the sustaining the network pillar. And so our next like kind of future that we want to go into is the metaverse. And hopefully we can kind of build on the fact that we are building blockchain services to kind of just take over fandom as well.
Yeah, I do think when people actually wake up, that I mean, talking about the general public, and realize how cool this new space is and all this new technology and these games and these NFTs being made right now. Once the world actually wakes up, this space is going to be crazy booming over the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion. So that's great that you guys are working towards that. That's pretty awesome. Get into the team a little bit. So it's you two. How big is the team behind the scenes? Is it, is there 6, 10 of you? What is the team?
Yeah, so we have around like not like 10 to 12 people on the team. We really incorporate our mods because one thing that we see that is really good is that we have mods, right? But all these mods come from very diverse backgrounds. They have their own education. They all have their unique skills and talents that we would love to apply. And so every single one of us, every discussion we have usually incorporates every mod that we have on hand. And we talk about the sustainability, the tokenomics, what we want to do in the future, and how we want to improve the project as a whole. And so altogether, the team is 10 to 12. The core team, like, with development and stuff, that's around like 5 people. But right now, we're not really trying to kind of distinguish the two. We'd rather be considered one team rather than a core and a mod team. And so, yeah, that's what we do. We have like a large team.
No,
Yeah.
that's great. Dabush, did you want to elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, so it's funny you say that. So we in the beginning it was just kind of the 5 of us, and then as we kind of started expanding, knowing that we're taking Comb to the next level at this moment, and we thought to ourselves that the mod team is so talented with their diverse background, and they know about a protocol more than anybody else. And you guys know more than yourself what you guys have. I'm pretty sure you guys have moderators for your servers, right? So you guys know how important of a factor they play into the success of protocols.
Absolutely.
Now, we're currently expanding and onboarding new talents just because of all the new features that we're going to be releasing in the future. And we're extremely excited for that because right now we have a lot of good talents, and for us to be able to like utilize our moderators too with some of those aspects is just, it's kind of one of those things where it's a dream come true.
Yeah, mods are some of the most important people because they're really the people dealing with the community on a daily basis. And when you have a good mod team behind you, from all different walks of life, you can really connect with all the people in your community and really kind of help it grow. So kudos to you for you guys, understanding that you need to have we definitely have a good one here at Cryptonaires as well. So I know you walked us through kind of what Comb is. I know you guys have been around. It's been a couple months now. I think you guys launched is it December? In December then you guys launched?
Yeah, December 19th. And so it's almost hitting the 2 month mark,
Nice, man.
which is really good.
Congratulations on 60 days almost coming up. Have you guys done any audits or KYC, anything like that you can share with the people that maybe don't know if you guys have done that stuff yet?
So at the moment, we don't have an audit in place. We have submitted an audit or quote for CertiK for our yield optimizers right now. But other than that, we are currently iterating, and that's kind of the issue, is that since we are like a project that's currently and always iterating, it's really difficult to find a good place and time to kind of find that audit, because what's the point of an audit if you're going to change the code 2 days from getting the audit? Then it's just necessary to get another audit. And so when you're spending like $10,000 for an audit, or possibly less or more, right? It becomes a waste, and we want to be mindful of how much we spend. And we've been really conservative with our budgets, and so that's why we're able to kind of stand out a little bit more. Other than that, like the KYC, we don't really find it too necessary to do KYC, because we see, like, in the real world, right? If we really take account like actual companies, we want to kind of pivot to that kind of like ideologies where we're considered as an actual company rather than just another DeFi project. We want to be like, we can show our faces, we have been showing our faces, and that's kind of just all you need, right? You need just an identity, their background, where they're from, and what they do. And that's how we do our doxing, and that's what we're kind of banking on, because a KYC from like Assure DeFi is around 0.5 to 1 Ether, right? And that is, although in this whole scheme of everything may like provide a sense of security, we don't think that's like as effective as just a free, hey, this is who I am, this is what I've done, and this is what I'm going to provide to you. Because in real life, like companies, they don't say, okay, we're KYC, now you know who we
Yeah.
are, and we've secured it with somebody else. Yeah, that may provide a little bit more security, but it's nothing different than just showing your face and showing people who you
No,
really
I
are.
got you. I've seen KYCs where people have sent in fake IDs and got, KYC'd. And so, just being there and showing people, you're kind of being out there is probably good enough for it's good enough for me. And I'm sure it's good enough for a lot of the too. So, appreciate you guys going through that. When do you think the CertIC audit will be done on, you said it was being done on, what part of the project?
So right now we have
Yeah.
vaults. So we have like actual yield optimizers that we run, and it's at a competitive rate, and uh, most of the fees will, or all the fees go back into Comb. So if you are an investor in Comb and you're an investor into yield optimizers, it's just the obvious choice that you'd invest into our yield optimizers. Going elsewhere would kind of just waste your money, like an extra 4.5% on your yearly APY.
Mhm.
And so, yeah, we're getting an audit on that because that's something that we is a little bit more concrete than our node service, which we are currently just still iterating on, because we still want to add the NFTs, as you said, like as you mentioned earlier, and we still want to add the metaverse, like the integrations for that. And so that's where we kind of are hovering, like we should wait a bit, but for these yield optimizers, yes, they will be getting it. We aren't sure when we'll get the quotes back, but we'll just hope soon.
Awesome, man. No, that's good to know that it's being done, and I'm sure we'll get that information soon. And it's pretty amazing how many different things you guys have done to innovate and make the project better just in the last 2 months alone. Scott, I know you had some questions for them. Scott is my co-pilot here today. The AMA is a good friend of mine. Did you have a couple questions for the team here, Scotty?
Yeah. So can you guys explain your roadmap and where you guys, like, I know you guys just said 4 different things with the metaverse and the vaults and stuff like that. Can you guys elaborate on those things, I guess, a little bit more?
Yeah, so right now we're going in a direction where we want to do financial services as well as the metaverse. So for this metaverse, we're trying to create an ecosystem. We've always went on the ecosystem because we think centralizing like these finance products is really strong. And so when we say we want to create an ecosystem, we want to say where we can enter a world where we can talk to people and we could interact with their daily services. So let that be Liquid Driver, Grim, just any other service, right? It's all in this one world. So if you wanted to swap a token, you could swap it in this metaverse. If you wanted to invest in this node platform, you could invest in that. If you just want to see like a bunch of cool NFTs, you could enter our museum, right? So we want to create a world just for DeFi. And it's kind of something that's not around right now, because right now the only projects out there are play to earn and
Right.
social platforms, but we kind of want to do like all of that. So we want to create a play to earn. We want to make game shows. We want to make a social platform as well, and kind of just a bunch of integrations. And on the other side, we want to do support a bunch of financial services. And so that one's a bit internal, but we want to kind of just say that we're going to be creating a future where a whole ecosystem of products will be backed by Comb.
That'll be awesome. Yeah, I mean, you see some of these news articles and stuff about like some of these big concerts that are happening in the metaverse and things, where I think it was like who was it, Guns N' Roses or Journey or someone like that had a concert in the metaverse, and it actually was a big success. So
Yeah,
I think that's the way things are going to be going here in the future. So I think you guys are on the right
yeah,
track.
and like we like kind of go off that. We saw like with Fortnite when they had the Travis Scott concert, like how much that blew up. And for us to be able to be like the forefront, to be able to, provide that hopefully in the future, it's amazing, man.
Yeah, and on that, like the way we're doing it is more utility based. So we're not just doing like entertainment, correct? We're doing a way where you can interact with actual services and utility in this world. And so that's kind of the basis of how we want to do things.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Can you
I'm really excited about
Can you
that.
guys walk us through some of the services you guys have in mind? So people, I mean, I know you guys, you kind of have, I want to do this, this, and this, but for the people listening at home and that are here right now, can you give us some idea of what types of these services are going to be? Like what are you guys getting to specifically, if you can share that?
Yeah, so we want to kind of do, so I can name a few. It's yield optimizers, farming, lending, and bridging. So all four of those all in this same comb ecosystem. So yeah, I don't know if you want me to go in depth with each one, but that's kind of the four ideas we want to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you can, add some light. I mean, maybe people don't know exactly what yield optimizers are, and I mean, maybe just a little bit more context, and then we can.
Yeah, so yield optimizers is kind of a service where we kind of take your LPs and then when you deposit into staking pools, the issue is you have to manually harvest them. And so what we do is we actually just automatically do that with you for you as in the form of bots and we constantly harvest for you. And so the power of compounding is real. Like if you don't know it, like compounding is just exponential and if you take advantage of it, it's really strong. And that's why like things like ohm forks are really popular because they take compounding to another level and they create that sense of 3-3, right? You stay, you compound, and you kind of just skyrocket and you moon, right? And so for us, we want to kind of provide that service because we see a future in compounding and also like providing liquidity. For farming, we just want to hold LPs and kind of help the whole Phantom ecosystem kind of retain its LPs. And in addition, we have the lending. So in a way, we want to lend people money and we want it to be self-repaying loans as we like Alchemix, right? They have this self-repaying loan kind of system and it's really strong and there's a lot of money going into that because people it's basically like free money at that point,
Yeah.
right? You're lending people money and it's just getting paid over time. The only thing that it costs is time. And for the bridges, we think that the Phantom ecosystem kind of lacks the sophisticated bridges. And so we actually want to bridge in Bitcoin, Filecoin, and Luna all from those ecosystems into the Phantom ecosystem.
Wow. No, man, that's really incredible. Scotty, did you want to continue? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. So along the lines of sustainability, like how do you guys see your project being sustainable in the long term? Like I saw some things about in your announcement section about taxes and adjusting your taxes and stuff like that. Like how do you guys, I guess, what is your plan for having to continually adjust your taxes, or do you have other ideas for the nodes part for sustainability? Or
Yeah, so the only way we see things to be sustainable is that if we find streams of revenue and to kind of avoid the recirculation of money. And so we know that in order to find revenue, we have to provide as many services as we can to kind of fill out that inflation and kind of provide that ecosystem. And so, what we plan on doing, as I said earlier, is just we plan on providing more and more services, and each of these services will have their own like fees that we take off, although they may be small, like as small as like percentages, like single digit percentages, right? They will add up over time, and as we provide more and more there's going to be a lot of revenue coming in. And with each like revenue stream we have, we just fund it back into the comb holders and to a point where if perhaps we have more revenue stream, right, than the inflation that's going on, we could see a price appreciation over time. And that's really valuable because if we get that ecosystem, that platform, and if we're not just known for being a node service, we can create a lot of money just for everybody within it. So, yeah.
right. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think I think over time, especially as you bring in more types of services and different things, it will it should work out. Hopefully,
Yeah,
anyway.
and I
Yeah,
would
like
like to
Um,
highlight with
like
the services that we're providing, they all intertwine, or they will all intertwine. So it's not like we're just providing a bunch of different things that don't kind of relay back to Comb. They all center around Comb, and that's the beauty of it as well.
okay.
No.
So I saw about 5 days ago you had your validator node, your Phantom validator node launched. How is that going? Has there been any issues with it?
it's going well. No, there hasn't been any downtime as of now, and we think it's been really helpful because that's kind of what the initial goal of the whole project was, to kind of sustain the network and do our contribution to the network as a whole. And now we've done it, and we're really happy. And we plan on taking this Phantom, we're going to compound it into our own systems, and then take the revenue from that compounding and put it back into the project. So there's more than just, okay, we get some Phantom and then we put it back into the project. It's more like we take our strategies and we take it how we want to like kind of provide it in a way. And it requires a lot of just tokenomics and the understanding of how things work in the ecosystem. And so we're talking a lot on how we want to do this. And in the end, this should be all beneficial to all comb holders. Even if they're not like a node holder, it's just we'd hope that any comb holder will be a benefiting one.
And let me just go back really quickly for the people that maybe are listening at home, listening to this for the first time, and they don't really know. You guys offer right now 4 different versions of nodes, correct? Can you walk us through what those versions are, and maybe what is the benefit of maybe going for the higher one over the lower?
Yeah, so we have a couple of node tiers, and this is just your entry for investments. And so the higher the tier, the lower the ROI, or in however you perceive it, like it's the better ROI. And we see it as a more of a long-term investment or a larger investment, because we want to reward people who really believe in the project. And so, of course, the more you put in, the more you'll get out. And so it's kind of, we offer a service which is you buy some comb and you buy a node, and a lot of things happen after that, right? You earn comb back, and we can guarantee that you will see an ROI in comb, and I would like to emphasize that it'll be in comb. So there's obviously some risk on that with the market values, but other than that, it's still a service. We think people see it as like just a monetary benefit, but at the same time, we do provide the RPC service as well as the maintenance needed to hold the validator. And so if you don't know, like, there's a reason why it takes so long to set up a validator,
Yeah.
right? Because there's just so much maintenance, so many things, the process takes a while to do. And so as a service, we provide that. And at the same time, we provide the nodes, and our nodes are a little bit more complex than other ones because there's load balancing, there's different regions, and they're, in our opinion, a lot more sophisticated than other node projects as a service. And at the same time, there's that compensation value because we see that as you use our service, we say, okay, this is awesome, and it's kind of like a return in dividends in a way.
And so you build your nodes, and then when you go to claim it, right? You can claim the rewards and get, depending how long you've waited to claim, there's a certain tax, right? But then you can also put it into Nectar, right? And to build more nodes. Can you go through that for us and help us better understand that?
Yeah, so our Nectar system is our compounding system, something we've designed for our own. And so Nectar is a one-to-one with Comb. And so for every Nectar, it's backed by Comb. And so whenever you want to claim your rewards, we can enable you to compound, and that's like a tax-free version of creating the next node. And so the power of that is that compounding is really, really strong. And if you don't know the math on that, you should look into it, because compounding will take you places like that nobody else can reach without compounding. And it is really exponential, and it can get really good really fast. And so we kind of offer that like flexibility, that interoperability with Nectar, because this second token is really strong in the way that you have so much flexibility with it. Because other projects, they say compound into the next node, and you wait at that certain moment, you wait until that certain moment. We let you have that feeling of just adrenaline or something like with dopamine, with this feeling of claiming. We understand that there's a feeling with claiming, and if we could incentivize it by giving you some form of the token, people will like it. And at the same time, this is transferable because it's just another ERC20, and so the system's a lot more complex than the other project and most other projects. And we like to emphasize that because a lot of our systems that we have in place, let that be the infrastructure for nodes or the compounding system, we've all done our own, and it's been really unique against other projects. And yes, so Nectar in itself is just a compounding token, which is tax-free with claim. It is a honeypot, so if you do want to go into Nectar, it's really difficult to get out, but there is still that possibility with an emergency unwrap. But other than that, yeah, the systems are really nice
Is
to help people compound.
So
Is there gonna-
the whole
Oh, I'm
idea
sorry.
behind it
Yeah.
is to just, we don't want to penalize our holders. You know, for us, we want to incentivize people to create hives, aka nodes. And if there's a way we can do that, we will provide that, which is what Nectar does at its current state, which is nice.
Is there another use case that you guys are trying to figure out for Nectar? Or is it just going to be for compounding on nodes?
Yeah, so we have a lot of avenues we are trying to go against. So there is the financial services and as well as the metaverse. And so Nectar will actually play an amazing role to both. Um, let that be just a way to go into tax-free into these financial services, or it's kind of like a bridge into our ecosystem, what Nectar is. It's like saying that, okay, we're going to invest into your own products, and Nectar is just like, okay, we'll let you do that without the taxes, because when we see it, like if you exit our ecosystem, yeah, there's going to be taxes, but if you stay within our ecosystem, we'll say like, okay, let's keep going then.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how we see
Awesome, man. No, I appreciate you kind of laying that out. I mean, give a lot of context to what the Nectar token is and what it does. I wanted to ask you a quick question about the loan. When is that up right now, or is that something that's coming in the next 2 weeks, quarter, monthly? When is that going to be set up?
So we actually have something else planned for the next 2 weeks. It'll be probably after the metaverse. So we have something else coming out in the 2 weeks, and then it'll be the metaverse, and then we'll have more financial services. Let that be the self-repaying loans. Because in this current ecosystem, there's no ability to create those self-repaying loans at the moment. And so we are currently doing a research, seeing like what's the best approach to that. And yeah, like we're really excited for this. That's one of the alphas we have, but that's not for a while.
I know how big that can be. I know there's a lot of people that do take loans on crypto, and be able to offer that as just an extra service, it just gives you guys even more utility than what every other cookie cutter project is doing. I mean, I wouldn't put Comb in the same category as I put a lot of these other projects, right? You guys are actually out here on the outskirts, innovating, doing new things, taking in new ideas, and actually putting them to work. And I mean, you guys been very impressed to watch you guys grow over the last 2 months here. So really quickly, so you said the APR on the loans will probably be something like a couple %. Is that kind of accurate, or is it going to be something much higher?
No. Well, it depends on the current ecosystem. So the reason why we love to put self-repaying loans onto the Phantom network is because there's so many different products out there that help us kind of leverage it and kind of repay it for themselves. So on at least Ethereum for Alchemix, right? They use urine vaults. But on the Phantom ecosystem, there's so many more like different products and avenues we can take it on. So definitely like it's dependent on the strategy the user would pick, but the APRs could go from like maybe 5 to 10% to maybe 60 to 80, right? So at one point you could pay it in maybe a year, or at another point you pay it in a couple, right? But it really depends on the risk you're willing to take, and we're kind of designing the systems where we can allow those users to say which strategy they kind of want to utilize.
Yeah, and then you guys also, you don't want to get like over leveraged on loans. So I'm sure you guys will think about all that stuff, and I'm actually very interested to see how all this kind of plays out. And so whenever you guys have those updates, I'd love to get into them. I know Scott had another question. So Scotty, I'll turn it back over to you, man. Thank you. I just wanted to cover the loan stuff.
So, sorry.
It's about partnerships.
Yeah, yep. So I saw your guys, or I've seen a few things on Twitter and in your guys' announcements. Is there any information that you guys can share about what you guys are going to be doing with Red Light?
So, to be honest, just given, I'll tell you guys this. This will be the biggest, I would say, how do I word this in a way? Because I do not, just out of courtesy for them, and out of respect, just do not want to spoil anything. But I will tell you guys that this will be the biggest event you guys have seen thus far in this space. And we'll address it as well on Tuesday, the day after Valentine's Day, of what we're putting out.
Is that when it gets released?
Exactly. So we're going to be doing an AMA with them on Twitter Space, and essentially over there, that's where we're going to kind of release it for you guys. I think the best way for you guys to actually find out and tune in is, if you guys aren't following our Twitter, I don't want to shill it, but follow our Twitter and also follow them, and you guys will find out a lot more details. But when I do want to highlight that this will be the biggest event in this space that so thus far,
those are big, awesome. Those are big words. I'm gonna hold you to those words. I'm even more excited now what's going on. So this is going to be pretty interesting. Do you guys have any other types of things that you're working on besides Red Light? Any other type of partnerships? I'm sure that was Scott's next question. Sorry, Scott.
Yeah. So essentially, right now, and I've said this like prior. So the whole aspect of everything I've done is just relationship type of marketing. And the reason for that is I would always like to have everybody that's kind of, we're partners to have a vested interest in the success of Comb and actually be like looking for, out of the good interest of the community and not actually doing it for compensation, or something of that nature. And basically, so we're really, really excited to be onboarding like good protocols that have good intentions at the same time. We do also, like, before we even announce, we do always have a meeting with them prior to make sure that, everything is good on their end and, make sure that there's just good individuals at the end of the day. And so that would be it. And at the same time and the reason why I always want to do that is because I don't like to shill. I believe that it's, I want to say cheap, but it's like people can see through that. And by shilling, it's just, there's no, it's more of a personal thing. The reason why I never like to kind of like, have Comb be constantly shilled. And by shilling, I'm talking about like, these random bot accounts that basically just say, hey, join and all that stuff. I don't see that doing any success for the community. I actually like to build organic growth. And I think I would say right now you might see, so you see my name have a Z in front of it. You'll go on the Discord, you'll see a lot of individuals having a Z in front of it. And that's kind of symbolizing the next direction we're headed with Comb for the next 2 weeks. And that's going to be really, really exciting. And the moment when that comes out, you guys are going to be, I don't want to say mind blown, but it's going to be amazing.
Man, you got me all hyped up now. I'm going to think about it in the next couple days. Damn, I really want to know now. What did you say, Scott?
No, I was just laughing at you.
Yeah, I really want to know now. I probably already did. So, walk us through, because you said you guys are going to do NFTs and gaming, right? What does this look like? What can we head back down this road and kind of shed a little bit more light on what this could look like, or any other context you can give us on what you guys see Comb games look like, or what exactly are you guys doing?
So I can highlight.
Yeah, so
actually, you want me to highlight for a second when you go after me?
Yeah, you can.
So I think one of the beauties of just our protocol is the blockchain we're on, Phantom, right? And Phantom has built such a nice community, and at the same time, they built this kind of horror theme that we're seeing that's symmetrical across all protocols. Now, that is one avenue that we're thinking of going as far as a tough game that we will provide. But I want to highlight that our metaverse, aka our Hiveverse, is a 3D world where you're able to interact with, within your Hive and other dexes, and just go along through that route. Whether, if you want, I can kind of drop some things that you guys can kind of start planting some seeds in your brain. Think about like NPCs in video games that you kind of interact with, as those being kind of the dexes. There can be an in-house auction house for, like, if you want NFTs, there's a lot that we can do with this Hiveverse. And that's why we're super excited for it, is because this is like, I hate I say, but it's the future, right? Like everybody in this channel, and even in DeFi like 3.0, 2.0, we're all super early right now. And like the question we have to ask ourselves is, do you see this being a thing, not 6 months from now, but 2 or 5 years from now? And our answer is yes. And that's the reason why we actually went fully docs and showed our faces, is because we're here to stay, and we're here to build at the end of the day. And I think David Moss said it the best in his AMA. I know it received a little backlash, but he said that the barrier to entry is technicality, like the technology, aka innovation. And that's the reason why we keep pushing out these fleet of financial products, is because at the end of the day, what really sets the value and actually helps sustain a network is how is the utility model of what Comb provides, and that's kind of the direction we're headed as far as that goes. I don't know if Moon, if you want to touch base on like other aspects of what we're going to provide on the as far as games, like as far as the games within the Hiveverse, but I really did want to highlight that this is a world. This isn't just, it's not, the gaming is, there will be games in it, but it's a world at the end of the day.
Yeah, and like building on, like we want to do like a social kind of thing. So we're gonna be, instead of like your solo like single player play to earn kind of thing, we want to create like a lottery base or jackpot base for game shows. And that's kind of the direction we want to go into, because it fosters a community, and it will get a lot of traction, because we want the barrier of entry for any game to be like just available or low. And then we want to make sure that people can just spread and be like, hey, there's a game show like next week, you want to join us? And then possibly they could win a large sum of money, or they could possibly lose, but it's kind of a play to win instead of a play to earn kind of thing.
Cool, man. No, that's yeah,
awesome.
that is pretty good. I'm very excited. Before we open it up to the audience, and if you guys want to start with your hands, if you have questions, team here, is there anything maybe that we haven't gone over that you guys are working on, or anything to us, some stuff that we need to know?
Yeah, well, I don't think so. We've just been working. We've been working every day. We're losing some sleep, but nonetheless, like we're working for like the people and the blockchain in general, and we're working really hard on just doing everything correct.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll have more when we get there.
No, I
Yep.
gotcha.
As always, we'll always keep you guys updated. I do like the community that you've built, so to be able to kind of provide like kind of updates for you guys to see what we're doing next is consider that done on our end. We want us to be as fully transparent and provide as much details for you guys, so you guys know what you guys are investing into at the end of the world, at the end of the day, I mean. And essentially, I would say within so Moon kind of highlighted like what we have planned out, kind of fleshed out for the next month and a half. But I do want to highlight that that please attend the Red Light and Comb AMA on Tuesday, because when I say this is the biggest, it is the biggest, and we want as many participants as possible, because that's what's going to make it more fun, and we're excited for that. So yeah, and like I said, the Z in front of our name, that will be the biggest indicator of what's to come next.
Dude, there's so much hype around this now. All I want to do is get to Tuesday. It's like Christmas or it's my birthday, right? I get really excited because I'm in both of your projects. I like both. I like Red Light. I like Comb. I've been talking about both your projects since both of you guys have launched. And our community is very involved with both of your projects. So you guys teaming up to do something that's supposed to be very hypey. I'm very excited now. So it's definitely.
I do want to highlight that the Z is not actually affiliated with Red Light. Just FYI, this is something even bigger.
So can you give us any context of what the Z means?
I really would, but I think it's a way of saying the community. Right now, it's a way of the community to engage, support, exactly. Yeah. The moment it's launched, you guys will have a full, like when we have it fully out there, you guys will know, and you guys will actually be hopefully the first ones to find out as well, if possible.
I'm gonna head over to your Discord and change my name and put a Z in front of it. Do we have any questions from the audience, guys? Any questions for the team? I know the team did a very excellent about laying out the project and the vision they're going. It's been a very solid experience. Trav, what you got for the team here?
Hey guys, so I got a question in regarding to the buzzing vaults that you guys have or come rolling out. So I'm currently in Comb, I'm currently in 2 Ohm, but can you explain a little bit further on why it'd be beneficial for me to put it there, and then why it's beneficial for Comb as well? Because it looks like there's no deposit or withdrawal fees, correct?
Yeah. So every time you compound, we do like that service, right? Every like 30 minutes, we say, okay, we're gonna harvest this vault. So we do that manual claim that you usually do, and then we add the liquidity and everything, and we do all that, right? So there's a fee on that right now. And so why is it beneficial? Well, if the fees go to solely just comb, right? Then at that point, it's just like there are no fees. And so, in comparison to other vaults like maybe Beefy, right? All the fees go into the Beefy token, but you're not in that. And if you want to get into that, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to add liquidity in, and there's just you have to invest in the token. And it's a little bit different because in Comb, you have like these tokens already, and it's going to you. And so, in a way, it's beneficial because there is technically no fees if you're invested into both like projects, at least on our
Yeah,
platform.
and then like just to kind of piggyback off that, just from like, just a basic kind of taking a step back, we offer the highest APR as far as all these go throughout our company contracts. And at the same time, there are no fees, no deposit withdrawal fees. You have the highest yield on Phantom. And if you are in Comb, this will directly benefit Comb just because of all the fees that we generate from these vaults go back to buyback and burning tokens. And that's so what Moon is just essentially trying to say is that no matter what, if you invest in Comb and you're investing here, this is one of those things that you get the best of both worlds. You get the APR and you get also the price appreciation of Comb.
Okay, that makes sense. And then also I see it looks like you get the Buzz 2 Ohm token, and that's how you
Um,
withdraw it.
yeah, that's just your receipt token. So that's your share of the vault. And so when you withdraw, it's on the technical side. It's just like that's the token that kind of represents what your position is in the vault. So
Sure, and that's no future use
yeah.
case on that. Okay. And then can you explain, so it maybe touched on it as far as I think you said something about how this could help with Colm being deflationary?
Yeah, so in the circumstance that the vaults have a high TVL at the point where it is more than the rate of inflation for the nodes, then in that case, the token will burn faster than tokens being created. And so at that rate, the price of comb will naturally appreciate over time. And that'd be an amazing point to reach. Currently, we're not at that point, but it's a point that exists.
Yeah, so if you guys want to see Comb hit $1,000, make sure to put everything in Comb and Comb to him as well.
I would love to see Comb at $1,000. I would do a weird funky dance and record it for everyone to laugh at me if Comb hit $1,000. So, Trav, did you have any more questions for the team?
No, that's good.
Okay.
Thanks, guys.
We appreciate you coming up, man. Hey guys in the audience, I know there's some people down there. Did anyone have any other questions? I know that very good, but is there anything else maybe that we haven't been able to get answered, or anything that you guys would like to know else? Comb? So you guys did such a good job. There's no questions.
Yeah, I guess.
No, it happens sometimes, man. When you guys have such a solid project and you guys have are answering, things are coming. Usually, you don't get too many questions at the end. But see, people are just shy. Now they're coming up. Here we go.
Hello, can
And
you
if you
hear
guys
me?
have questions about like the Hyverse or
Can you hear me?
by all means, ask away.
I
Let's
have
do
a
it. Go.
I
You were
have a
first up, man. What do you
question. I
got
was
for the
looking
team?
at your treasury, and when I click the link, it says it has
Yes,
5
yes,
FTM.
yes.
We can hear you.
Is that your treasury?
No, so it's kind of split. So if you looked in one of our previous announcements, It's kind of split up. So there's 2 contracts, or 2 wallets and a contract.
Yeah, I don't see it on the
So
link. That's
the
why.
main like contract is the Hive beacon, and so I can link it.
Yeah, and what we can do to help you guys out. Yeah, what we can do to help you guys out is if Moona, if you want, like, if there's a way we can link our the entire message.
Now,
'Cause
does
there's
your
we
wallet?
made an
I'm sorry.
announcement that kind of describes
Does your
each of the
wallet
wallets that is
show
behind the team,
investment?
and you guys can kind of see
Do you have like an
exactly what's
investment
going
wallet
on.
and a liquidity wallet?
Is there a channel? Um, so majority of our investments have actually went into the validator. So that's like the $1 million like validator, right? And so right now
And that's
our
liquid.
treasury
Your 300,000 is
for
liquid.
like around 1.3 mil.
Do you have
so
any
right now we
liquidity
have like a remaining
other than just
300,000
Phantom?
left for.
Oh, okay.
No, it's in Phantom. Well, yeah, liquid
Yeah.
in Phantom.
Well,
No.
and one aspect of that to kind of describe investments is, and I've touched base a little bit prior, is the main idea of why we don't have too many investments outside of Comb is because that we really want to focus on, like, just let's just do real, like, just a basic, like, Comb is a business at the end of the day, and this is a startup business, and when we start to profit, the most you don't want to take that profit and invest it elsewhere. You want to invest it back into the protocol, which is the route we're going. And we're really fortunate that we actually did go with this route, considering all the considering the market with a lot of events that happen, you know. And we believe that it's also in the best interest of just the investors is that we're focusing all our liquidity and just for the time being on making Comb better. You know, we want Comb to be the Phantom protocol for blockchain services. You know, that's the goal. You know, we want to provide a fleet of opportunity where you guys can all capitalize on, and everybody can hopefully. I don't want to say wag me, you know, because sometimes it's viewed negatively, but
So
I do like the direction
Mhm.
we're headed right now
No, so you're
for it.
investing. You
But
said you're
I hope
investing
that kind
back
of answered
into
a little bit more
Comb.
of the
What do you
like
mean by
the
that?
future investments would go.
More
And at the same
specifically,
time,
or
go ahead.
creating validators. Okay.
So look at validator, for example, right? The validator help. Well, we're not going to create. I don't know if we're going to keep
At
creating
any
more validators, but I would say that's an example of how we
at any
invested back
point
into the
in time,
protocol,
are you
and that also
thinking
helps sustain the
about
network at the same time.
long-term sustainability by
Yeah, I'm gonna
investing
put in some
outside the
memes.
protocol into the
So
tangible world?
I would.
Exactly. So you put it on the nose. No, Moon, do you want to take this one actually?
Actually, no. I'll
Yeah.
let you
So
take
we
that.
we can't really, just due to legalities just right now. We are actually looking into that, and at the same time, what we strive to do is we want to onboard individuals. Like I said in the beginning, we said in the beginning of the call, we're onboarding talent at the moment, and those type of talents are, you know, like, can be in like traders and investors. You know, I view those as two different things, like swing traders versus, like, you know, like TA individuals. So the whole idea behind it is when we start to invest, like, I would say outside of this protocol, into, like, let's say other protocols, and then also, like, you know, the tangible world. We want to have individuals with, you know, the skill sets behind that. You know, we don't want to just be like, hey, guys, let's do it. Like, at the same time, we will provide a proposal for, you know, because we do implement the DAO system where you as a community get to decide where these investments go. But I do believe, and I do like to highlight that what we propose to you guys is actually very fleshed out and has pros and cons to each category, and then you guys can kind of decide which will be the best investment for you guys. I don't think, you know, for us to be like, hey, let's invest, you know, 500K into time, and then 200K into, like, strong, or, you know, all these, like, these protocols just been here, and, you know, we kind of seen how those turned out, right? It just, I don't want to like FUD or throw anything other like kind of like under that, but we do want, you know, in the future we will like kind of propose, and I would say very, very nice
Definitely understand that, because
investment opportunities for our
where I'm
protocol.
coming from
We
is,
just want to have, you know, the individuals
diversity,
with the best
obviously,
mindset behind that, if
and
that
the
makes sense.
diversity of your, investment just being in the intangible economy is one thing, which all these nodes have. The one thing that I've noticed from being in different nodes is no one's really gone outside the intangible economy of crypto to the tangible economy, where something is actually working and it's there, and that can be a sustainable revenue stream for an intangible economy. Like if you invest in it and then that investment brings revenue back to the intangible economy like crypto, and then you're also pulling from that, not just within one ecosystem, because that's what it seems like all these nodes do. They're pulling only from within this intangible economy. And I would think the next step would be going out and finding a tangible economy that is sustainable, exists, and has always existed, and then getting a revenue stream from that.
Yeah, and you put it on the
Yeah, like-
nose, actually, man. Like it's on, like that's exactly what we're planning out right now. And I don't want to say we're one of the best protocols out there to do this. And that's the main reason why we actually went fully doxed, is because we're treating this like a legit entity. You know, like this is something that we're here to stay, and that is definitely the next direction where it goes. But there is legality, like just regulation issues that we are currently tackling down. But just know that that is something that is extremely that we're extremely
Now,
motivated
is that
doing, and we are actually currently doing. You know, and I would say just for us to be in the States actually gives us even a better opportunity at times too.
Yeah, like we know that we know that like the market cap of like traditional like real world assets is like around 600 trillion in comparison to like DeFi's 2 trillion. And so we've already seen that opportunity and we're already making moves on it where we can find tangible assets which have that stream of revenue. In a way, that validator is a stream of revenue because we have to run the hardware on that, and there's an actual like tangible machine that is mining for the network.
Okay, that's
And
why
so
I
in a way,
asked
you
you
can see that as a
why
tangible
you
asset, but
have
we are looking
where's your
outside
liquidity,
of
because
just the digital
I was
space,
actually
and we're
reviewing
finding
some of the
stuff there.
nodes because I had like a proposal, and I was wondering where your liquidity was, because I think going outside the ecosystem of crypto and going into a tangible world would benefit sustainability more than just staying within it.
I love it.
Yeah, in a way,
Okay.
like our
And why
so
is that?
we haven't
Let me ask you that.
like
Why is
yet.
that?
So
Just because
the
why?
liquidity we have now is just the liquidity we really have now, though. So I just ask that. Just because it's low. I think it's just because we've been out in the space long enough, and it's just there's at that point where there's that lack of because it's really driven by the node creation, right? And so for all of the other projects, they've had a lot more nodes, and for us, we only have
40
like
million.
5,000 in comparison to things that are out there with like
Yeah, well, their
pretty
liquidity
strong
is
with
40
300,000.
million.
That's why they have so much liquidity. Thor has like what is it? They have over they have a bunch of nodes, right? So yeah, so that's kind of just how it is. Um, and since we're just a smaller project with a longer, like long-term vision, our liquidity is just not there yet. But as we move into these financial services, like we're gonna see not only like a lot more liquidity, but higher TVLs across the board. And we really plan to be like the holy grail of Phantom. So if that doesn't get you excited, like we don't know what does, because we're going to become a holy grail, and it's going to be in ways that you really
So
did not
your
expect
revenue
it.
streams
Yes,
are
it
coming
may have been just
from
like
validator nodes.
where did it come from, but we're really excited for what we have in these next 2 weeks, and you guys better.
So there's multiple ways, but I do want to highlight that we're in this. I would say I want to treat Comb like kind of like a startup, a more I would say more fleshed out startup than just kind of startup. We really want to make the transition, and that's kind of the beauty of what I was saying prior is to make this blow up in this and not even just in this DeFi world, but in just essentially the retail investors, right? That's the whole idea, and that's the direction we're taking this with. Um, so the low liquidity, it might be an issue at the moment, but it's not. It hasn't really caused an issue for our protocol. We haven't faced anything that was that drastic, and at the same time, it's increasing constantly, and we have avenues where we can kind of keep increasing that. But at the same time, I do want us to highlight that we are offering a lot of like we have a nice fleshed out roadmap ahead of us. That's gonna kind of hopefully counteract that. And the thing is I don't want us to be kind of compared to these node protocols, because that's not the goal and that's not the direction we're taking it, right? We're providing these different services. To be honest, I don't want to say it's disrespectful for Comb, but it can be perceived that way, because we're actually truly trying to become, we want Comb to be Comb, right? We don't want Comb to be compared to Strong, to Thor, to, any of these other protocols out there, because Comb is its own entity at the end of the day. And that's the goal that I want to kind of push out so you guys understand, and that's where we're headed. Comb is the future. It's the future of Phantom. And as we were saying, is that Holy Grail, you guys will see that. And that is what I would say an even bigger hint for what the Z is.
No, I don't
is
understand
coming
that. I'm
for,
sorry. Can you say what it is?
in front of the name, for if you guys don't understand what the Z, in front of the name. Yeah, so essentially, like during the beginning of the throughout the duration of the AMA, we kind of highlighted about like what the Z means, and not really what the Z means, but we gave a little hint about what the Z. And I think the moment where you guys kind of start, when we actually release that out there, you guys will start kind of separating us from other nodes and be like, okay, you know what, Comb is, this is truly a unicorn type entity, and that's kind of the goal that we're going. Is we have a lot of great visions in mind, and the direction we're headed is, I'm really happy.
I did. Thank you.
On this road. Let's say.
Go. Did that answer all your questions, my friend? Hey, thank you for coming up and adding value to the AMA.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, man. You asked some really good questions and really helped shine some light on some other things. I don't think we have any more questions for you guys. Maybe drop on Tuesday what you're going to do about that. We'd all love to hear that. No, I'm just kidding, man. No, if you guys want to say anything in closing, please go ahead. I was just teasing, trying to get that alpha out of you.
No, not at the moment. We want to respect R&D a little bit.
Yeah,
so
I know you want to tell me, but it's okay. I'm very persistent. Well, I'm sure I'll be asking again, but it's all good, man. I wish you guys the very best on Tuesday. I hope whatever it is that you guys are working on with Red Light is as huge as you guys are saying it is. Yeah, please continue.
We really do appreciate you hosting this AMA once again, Sensei. And at the same time, as we make advancements within our protocol, information will relay to you guys, so you guys kind of have an idea of where we're headed. But yeah, please please partake in the giveaway in the event that we're hosting. When I say it's the biggest, it's the biggest, right? And you kind of got a little glimpse of what I just said there for a sec. So there we go.
Guys, he did.
Yeah, it's gonna be the biggest you guys ever seen.
Awesome, man. We're really excited. Moon, did you have anything you wanted to say in closing, my friend?
Just thank you for having us here, and we really appreciate it.
It's an absolute pleasure and an honor, guys. And I really do. I mean, there's some projects that are just not going to make it. There's some projects that are amazing teams that are constantly working to innovate and grow. And I think you guys are one of those projects that are going to be here in 6 months, 12 months down the line. So thank you so much for allowing us to kind of paint the picture of what is Comb Financial. And we really look forward to having you guys back for some updates and some different things going on. And if there's anything that our community can ever do to help support Comb, please let us know. We're all here in this fight together. So do what we can to help us out.
Alrighty, guys. Then I guess we'll stay in touch, and thank you once again.
Appreciate you, man. And then Scott, thank you for being my co-pilot on this. Guys, nothing discussed here is financial advice. We're just, bringing a very solid project information out to you guys. Please do your own research. Definitely find more information on Twitter with Comb Financial or their Discord, and we'll include all for that. So we really appreciate your time on this Saturday. Have a good day, evening, afternoon, wherever. Thank you so much.
Alrighty.
Thanks, guys.